8.15, Starting engines. Caution 1. Never engage the starter with the fuel shutoff valve switches turned off.
Main hydraulic failure. Main hydraulic failure.
Caution 2.
Main
Do not
fuel
start the
tank
engines with the
pump
APU
failure.
and DC generator mode on.
Main fuel tank pump failure. Feeder fuel tank
There are
pump
two engines,
failure.
left and right. Always start the
Feeder
downwind
fuel
engine
tank pump
first. This
failure.
is so that the exhaust gases from the first engine don't interfere with the starting of the other engine. 1. Confirm the APU has run for at least 1 minute. Two. APU air pressure gauge. Check it is within PPC limits. For this mission, at an airfield elevation of 43 feet and an ambient temperature of -12 degrees Celsius, the air pressure should be 2.05 kilograms per squared centimeter. Press backspace if you want to look at the PPC. Press spacebar to continue with the engine start. This is the performance planning card, used to determine what APU air pressure for engine start is required. Enter the graph from the bottom, at the line corresponding to the field elevation. Proceed vertically up to the current ambient temperature. Draw a line left to the required pressure. 3. Crank switch. Set to its start position, up. 4. Select the engine to start, with left-right switch. On this mission, the wind is coming from the left, so we will start the right engine first. 5. Start button. Press and hold for 2 or 3 seconds, to begin the engine start. The auto ignition light will illuminate, followed by the starter on light a few seconds later. If the auto ignition light doesn't illuminate, then most likely you forgot to release the rotor brake during the pre-start checks. 7. Once the RPM of the starting engine rises, move forward the corresponding engine stop lever overhead, to allow the fuel to reach the engine. Wait a bit, until the engine reaches idle RPM. Check idle speed parameters. 9A. Engine RPM check it's within PPC limits. For this mission, N1 should be between 67 to 70%. Press backspace if you want to look at the PPC. Press spacebar to continue with the engine start. This is the performance planning card used to determine the engine limits at idle. Enter the graph from the bottom, at the line corresponding to the current ambient temperature. Proceed vertically up to the curves for minimum RPM, maximum RPM and maximum power turbine inlet temperature, PTIP. 9B. PTIP. Within PPC limits. For this mission it should be between 470 to 520 degrees Celsius. 9C. Engine oil pressure. Should be greater than 2 kilograms per square centimeter. 9D. Gearbox oil pressure. Should be greater than 0.5 kilograms per square centimeter. 9E. Rotor RPM check it's between 40 to 55%. 10A. Test of flight controls with main hydraulic system. A. Cycling. Move forward, aft, left, and right, without depressing the force-trim button. The cyclic should return to the original position. B. Cyclic. Move the cyclic, depress the force-trim button, with the HOTAS or T key, and release. The cyclic must remain in the position where the trim was released. C. Cyclic. Return to neutral position, using trim reset, key left control plus T. D. Check pilot's pedals. Move pedals fore and aft. Check for smooth operation and return to neutral position. 10B. Tested flight controls, with auxiliary hydraulic system. A. Set the main hydraulic system switch to off. Make sure that the OSIS on annunciator comes on, and the main sys on annunciator goes off. The auxiliary hydraulic system pressure rises rapidly as it picks up the load, and varies within the limits of 42 to 73 kilograms per squared centimeter. B. Turn the main system switch back to the on position. Note that its annunciator remains off, as the active hydraulic system is still the auxiliary one. C. Cyclic. Move forward, aft, left, and right, without depressing the force trim button. The cyclic should return to the original position. D. Cyclic. Move the cyclic, depress the force trim button, and release. The cyclic must remain in the position where the trim was released. E. Cycling. Return to a neutral position, using trim reset, left control plus T. F. Check pilot's pedals. Move pedals fore and aft. Check for smooth operation and return to neutral position. G. Collective. Increase collective. 1 or 2 degrees of pitch angle is sufficient, and check that the blade pitch angle pointer has moved. H. Collective. Return to its full down lever position. I. Finally, select the main hydraulic system by depression of the OSIS off button, and keep it depressed until the main sys on annunciator comes on and the OSIS on annunciator goes out. 11. Second engine start. Follow the same procedure as with the first engine. A. APU cool down. 1 minute since the previous engine start. B. APU, EGT and air pressure. Within PPC limits. 11D. Engine selector switch. Set to left, as the right engine is already started. 11E. Start button. Press and hold for 2 to 3 seconds. 11G. Fuel shutoff lever. Once the N1 RPM increases, move forward. Wait a bit, until the engine reaches idle RPM. Check idle speed parameters for the second engine. 12A. Engine RPM check it's within PPC limits. For this mission, N1 should be between 67 to 70%. 12B. PT. Within PPC limits. For this mission it should be between 470 to 520 degrees Celsius. 12C. Engine oil pressure. Should be greater than 2 kilograms per squared centimeter. 12D. Gearbox oil pressure. Should be greater than 0.5 kilograms per squared centimeter. 12B. Rotor RPM check it's between 55 to 70%.